Welcome to Lykken on Lending, the podcast that dives deep into the heart of the mortgage industry. Your host, David Lykken, bringing you the latest insights, trends, and updates from the world of mortgages. Whether you're a seasoned industry veteran or just getting started, this show is your go-to source for all things mortgage. Let's get started. This is Lykken on Lending. Now your host, David Lykken.
Listeners, it's time for another AI update, and we've got an extra treat here. Now, we always have Pavan on. He shares his wisdom, and I always love having him, and we're getting some great reviews. By the way, folks, thank you for liking and subscribing to our YouTube channel. We're getting some good impressions, and that is working. But today, we also have joining us Jennifer, who is really the one that makes everything happen there at Intelligence, at SunWest, at Angel AI. Jennifer, it's good to have you here.
It's my pleasure, and thanks for your kind words, David. It's a team effort. It's not a single man's work.
That interview we did with you where you told your story still gets listened to, and it's shared around so much. Pavan, thank you for coming in and being here. The last time we were doing one, we sat in your home there in we did one since then. We've released one since then, but I prefer recording these in San Juan right there in your living room. Anyway, here's what I want to go to today. Jennifer, you're so much a part of the success and really the one that makes things happen there. Pavan's got the vision. He directs and guides that, but then it takes someone who is really good at execution to make it happen. So here's the thing. I'm getting more and more, because of our AI updates, because of people know that my affiliation with Angel AI, specifically Pavan and you, Jennifer, they're calling me and going, Dave, we need to create something. Everyone feels like they need to compete by creating their own. I mean, they see this, they mistakenly see this as a SunWest app. Now, certainly it is connected, and certainly there's, all one and the same in certain regards, but it's separate. And the other thing that's happening is this: what's shocking more of these business owners, Jennifer, Pavan already knows this story, so I'm directing this one to you. But what they're finding is their employees, their underwriters are already using Angel AI, and they have no intention of selling the loan. And I discussed this with Pavan, and when one of the guys brought it up, he goes, please don't tell Pavan, but we're benefiting from it. So I shared with Pavan, and I called the guy back. He said, you weren't supposed to tell him. I said, he took it as the biggest compliment. He encourages you. In fact, he would love to if you run into any issues, he would love to hear about it. They want to learn because that's how this thing is getting so good. So here's the question. More and more people are thinking about starting their own AI initiative. I tell them it's too late. The train's left the station. We're way down the road. So let's start with you, Pavan. You're the visionary. Why would you caution someone going out to do it? I mean, part of you goes, I encourage everyone to go do it, because you and I talked about this one other time. You said, you know what? You don't appreciate the value of something until you try to go build it, right? That's what you and I were talking about. So what would you say? And then I want to get to Jennifer on that.
Yeah, so I'm going to start with this op-ed that was published by Fortune magazine, and it's gone viral. I got it right here on my phone. The title is "Something Big is Happening in AI, and Most People Will Be Blindsided."
Yes. Okay,
and it's written by a guy named Mike Schumer. He's a pretty popular AI CEO, and the premise of what he's saying here is, everyone is, using ChatGPT. Everyone is tinkering with it, and everyone's heard of it. Everyone's doing stuff in AI. But there's a small percentage, I don't remember what he said, 3 to 5% or something, even less, that are really digging in deep and are really using AI properly, right? And it's that small percentage that, and between that small percentage digging in deep and where AI really, where it's evolved and what the potential is, that intersection of those who are digging in deep and the evolution of AI is at a tipping point where that 3% is going to overwhelm the 97%.
Right.
Okay. Right. So anybody listening to this, once again, I'm going to repeat it. It's called "Something Big is Happening in AI, and Most People Will Be Blindsided." The title says it all. Go look it up. It is trending. It's like the I think it came out just a couple of days ago, right? I think it came out on Friday, this op-ed.
If you can send us the link, we'll put a link of that article in the show notes. I mean, I'm sure anyone listening to this will do that. But if you could send that out. I think what's so interesting about that is that, I mean, you and I share back and forth. I mean, you should see, Pavan blows up my WhatsApp. I mean, I don't know when this dude sleeps. Jennifer, and I know you must get it like way more. I'm on a couple of Celigents. I mean, the exchange of data is extraordinary. But here's the problem. There are people that are using Angel AI in the companies, and their underwriters are. They're already using it because they got turned on to it because realtors. What's the number of active users right now that you have, Jennifer?
I think so.
It's about 300, a little over 300,000, like 315,000. Plus users.
So what's happening, Jennifer, is these other mortgage companies that have their traditional underwriters, how they're finding out about it is their loan officers or realtors are using the app and challenging the underwriting decisions that they're getting. So they're getting turned on about it because they're getting embarrassed because the realtor is giving more chapter and verse of where to go look up the regulations. And it's gotten to the point where it's gotten downright embarrassing for some lenders out there. How is it that this is happening? So they go like, well, we can't say we're using the tool that's powering SunWest. We've got to come up with our own because we're way bigger and we think so much more highly of ourselves. And that it's just a big mistake. So I share that with, I had a friend of mine, one of my old clients called me and said, Dave, I'm real good friends with someone at Palantir, and they're some of the top AIs, and they're going to help me build this. I mean, if I can have a top AI scientist at Palantir help me build something, I'm going to blow everyone out of the water. I'm going, no. So that's number one caution. Jennifer, add into that. You work with the complexities, the code. Yep. If you could share your perspective on this point.
Yes, I think the biggest mistake everybody making is they're thinking that AI means as a chatbot.
Yeah.
Right? It's definitely not a chatbot or not just a search layer, right? It's one of my data scientists recently wrote this on LinkedIn. They said it's a decision intelligence that can act, right? That's what Angel AI is all about, right? Using its proprietary transactional language model, she is able to interpret what your intent is. And based on the interpretation of that intent, she's able to enforce the domain knowledge of that. So this is why Angel AI is an industrial AI with some deterministic decisions that she's able to make. And what that means is when an underwriter goes on Google or another chatbot or one of those leading lenders' AI, it is just a search engine. But whereas Angel AI is able to give you a simple, decisive answer, which is easy for any human being to read, let alone the underwriters. A consumer can go there and ask Angel AI a very complex scenario question. She's going to be able to give you a simple answer to that without any maybe or maybe we can do it or ifs and buts and the disclaimers and the terms and conditions. Without all of that, she's going to be able to tell you, yes, I can do it, or no, I can't do it. Yes, I can do it if you meet X, Y, Z in simple terms. This is why Angel AI is very, very popular among who actually want to use it and want a decision. It's not a simple chatbot, right? And the beauty of it is also, we didn't create an AI for the sake of creating an AI. I mean, I worked on this personally myself for the last 27 years now.
Wow.
Right? We didn't want to create an AI, right? I know Pavan's vision was to eventually build an AI. But what we did was we took this entire loan origination, closing, servicing process, and we broke that down into simple cells. We then worked on each and every single cell. And we implemented the rules, we implemented the decision engine, we implemented everything in pieces. And then we introduced a chat that incorporates all of this. So I know people go from chatbot to implementing rules, but we actually did the reverse. We implemented everything that we need to implement for the decisions to be made correctly and accurately, and then introduced the chat platform to be able to communicate with the users in a friendly manner, right? And that I still remember when Pavan was saying, you know what, we have to come up with a manner where people can use this in a very friendly manner. And this was even before ChatGPT was even in use, right? So that is when we use something, it used to be called Virtual Assist. Virtual Assist was nothing but a simple chat tool that our loan officers were able to use in order to communicate with Angel AI Now, which is called Angel AI Now, and get answers quickly, 24/7, right? So that's how Angel AI evolved. And this is why Angel AI is very different, and it is not comparable to any chatbot out there, because this is not just a chatbot. This is a decision engine. This is giving you rules, which is always 100% warranted personally by Pavan himself. And remember, Pavan is using his personal money to warrant these decisions because of everything I just said.
And by the way, that's warranty, just so you go. So, I mean, if I use the free version, I get a warranty on every loan? No, it's if you're selling it to Pavan, if it goes into if it goes into SunWest, it's not a carte blanche to anybody, all 300,000 people using it
because we're using SunWest's license to be able to warrant those decisions, right? So I can only honor those warrants if you send that loan to SunWest. If not, yes, you can still use it as a tool. You can get your answers out of her. You can use it to make some decisions. You can use her to calculate income. You can do everything. But that warranty is based on SunWest's license, and that's why that warranty applies when you submit that loan to SunWest.
Yeah, and I love the price, Jennifer. It's free. That's the price level. I mean, if it's free. And Pavan, every time we come up with you, I go like, that's a head scratcher. Why are you giving this away? I talk to people and they go like, what's his revenue model? And that's a whole nother podcast. We're going to get into some of the things.
I can reassure you and your listeners, we're making plenty of money.
Yeah, you're doing real well. Yeah.
We're making plenty of money. Our asset base is $119 billion. Right. And if you take the top few lenders and you add them up, their net worth doesn't exceed $15 billion.
Yeah.
Right. So, there's really there's no comparison. You're comparing apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Right. We don't have to do the most volume, but we're probably the most,
you're by far the lowest cost.
The most profitable.
Yeah, lowest cost, the cost of manufacture, therefore the most profitable out there not to be measured by anyone else. I want to shift the discussion to this because a lot of people, Jennifer, this is the one, when I was talking to Pavan about this Saturday, I was out walking around and enjoying this beautiful weather we have here in Central Texas. Kind of thinking, I wonder if the weather here is as good in California and I was pretending I was in San Juan.
Mine is today. It's just rainy today, but otherwise, it's beautiful weather.
We had beautiful weather this weekend. And so anyway, I was talking to Pavan about this and I said, so many people think that this is easy. And that's one of the things we've already talked about. But it's one thing, there's a lot of programmers out there, Jennifer, that you guys have hired, scientists that you've got working there. Number one, how do you select them? How do they so consistently do so well to get the results of excellence that they do? And Pavan says, for that answer, we got to have Jennifer on here. So here you are, Jennifer.
It's a very unique way we do it. And anytime I actually work with some consultants trying to hire some engineers, they go like, can you define it? And then I define it and they go, okay, it's kind of confusing for them, but this is what we follow, right? Yeah. We don't sought after degrees or elite schools or anything like that. They don't have to have even sometimes an undergrad degree, right? We have this test that everybody takes, and then it's 2 rounds of interview. The first round is to make sure that they understand what they're talking about. And the second round, I do it personally myself. Every engineer that we hire, I personally interview them. And it's probably lasts around 10 to 15 minutes.
On a side note, it used to be I used to interview them.
Yes.
But the problem is I'm too nice and I used to hire everybody and create a mess for Jennifer. Then I said, okay, you know what, Jennifer, you interview them.
I do have to say that I learned it from the master. But anyways, the thing is, all I look for is they have the right passion, right? And they have to be willing to learn. We don't even look for a person who has a brilliance in a certain domain. We don't look for someone who is an expert in Java or data science or a specific domain at all. We just look for two qualities. One, they're very passionate about what they want to do, and they are willing to learn.
Willing to learn.
Willing to learn. Those are the only two major factors I'm looking for when I'm interviewing them. And how do I determine that?
Yeah, that's
just they all put like fancy stuff in their resumes, right? You just pick one topic from there and have them explain it. In less than 10 minutes, you'll be able to say 10 minutes is a long time, but in less than that, you'll be able to tell whether they really cared about what they were doing and they really know what they did, actually. If they can answer those two questions very clearly, then they'll be hired as an engineer in our team. And it doesn't stop there, right? The one thing that we train our engineers is discipline. The most thing that the engineers, even the best of the best, lack is discipline. Yeah. When you don't have that discipline, you're never going to be able to execute whatever it is. And engineering is the same way. You have to have the discipline. We train them on the discipline. We train them what is the most important value for an engineer. It's not about writing the state-of-the-art code out there, because ChatGPT, as everybody says, can write code. Mm-hmm. But you are not just a software developer. You're an engineer. You have to understand the problem that the user is facing. You need to understand what the user actually wants. And then implement it in your own innovative manner. We give them the autonomy to implement an innovative solution to the problem that they're seeing. They have to see the problem from the users directly. And once you give them these tools and train them the discipline, they will come up with an innovative solution that nobody else can create. And we make them responsible and take full responsibility on that project, from listening to the user, understanding the problem, and solving it, and showing it to the user and having the user accept it as a solution. End to end, they are responsible. They don't have, I don't have like a team of engineers, one person working on so-called backend, one person working on the so-called front end, on the middleware layer, the database layer. I don't have different engineers working on different layers of the project. So our teams are very small, and they work on that project.
That's how Rolls-Royce is made. They have a team that builds the whole car. That's why it's so expensive. It is a much more expensive process than an assembly line. Rolls-Royce, Bentley, some of the most finest cars are built from beginning to end by the same team, and it sounds like that's what you're talking about.
That's why our engineering team is a very flat architecture, and it has small groups like of one or two engineers depending on the complexity of the project, and that's it. There's no middle layers. Anytime I introduce a middle layer, the efficiency
you have to understand about software engineering, it's not like building a house. Where if you build a house, you have to create this Gantt chart where you got to pour the foundation first, and you got to put the sticks up, and then you got to do this, right? Because they're interdependencies. Right. But in software, you could do everything at the same time.
Now that bends my mind. I'm sorry, I can't get my head wrapped around that because I've been living in a world of dependencies because I've been in the mortgage industry. We can't do this until this happens. I mean, so
the same thing, right? Mortgage industry is the same thing. People always think like even when I'm going to shift a little bit here to talk about SunWest, because people say, we tell them, don't wait for all the documents to come in at a time. Just submit as and when you get it. Hey, how come you're going to know because the system tracks it. The AI tracks it. She knows that you've submitted the bank statements, and she will see if there's any relevance to the income documents, right? Sometimes the pay stubs are reflected on your bank statement. She'll be able to use that. Then you submit the pay stub. She's going to be able to relate the two documents and compare and make sure if there's any differences, ask the questions, right? So the AI is built exactly the same way as the engineering team is built. It's different.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, that's one of the reasons that cost of production and speed is so fast, right? And when a loan application starts at SunWest, it all happens in parallel and instantly. As everything is prepared from the minute the application is taken, is prepared for closing at that spot.
Some of the realtors don't even believe.
Right. What's the missing documents, and just wait for those to come in. That's it.
Well, it's, Pavan, I always enjoy interviewing you, but it's always just adds another dimension when we get Jennifer in on these interviews. Jennifer, we're trying to keep these to 20 minutes so we have people wanting to come back and listen more and listen more. I'm just so grateful to have you here, Jennifer, to be a part of it. Jennifer, when you're, I ask Pavan this question regularly, and I'm going to have Pavan answer after you. Where do you see this going? What does this industry look like at the rate of development, especially from your perspective, the real brains that makes this all come together and work, from the hiring engineers, helping all that? Pavan's the architect, but you're the one that's actually in there building a lot of it, and I'm sure contributed there. Where are we heading?
It's people are not adapting to it as fast as we want them to, right? I mean, we said true. Like we have 300,000 plus users in the platform. Maybe 2% of them, a little over, maybe around that number, is only 2% of the loan officers are actually actively using it.
Yeah, but that is like just like that article that I talked about in the beginning, right? It's the rest of them use it, but not like they don't take the time to really understand. Like you know what, this could actually do everything, right? But there's a 2% who get it and say, okay, here's a consumer tells the AI, Mr. and Mrs. Smith wants to buy a house. Can you close the loan? Right. Yeah. Literally prompt it like that. Just talk to Mr. and Mrs. Smith and take the application and close the loan. And then they then forget about it.
Yeah, I was actually on a phone with a loan officer literally yesterday. She was in the church, right? After she finished, when she came out of the church, she did tell me that she texted before she went to the church that this is the borrower, and she just gave all the details. Angel AI was able to take that information, did the pre-approval, sent the pre-approval directly to the borrower, and when she came out of the church, the borrower had the pre-approval and was placing a offer on one of the houses they liked, right? Literally, that's what is happening.
Right.
They use it to the fullest extent.
And again, that's the whole point of that article, and this is why it's gone viral, is because there's that 2 to 3% that looking at the tool, look at the capabilities, and saying, "Wow, I can use this to multiply my time. I can use this to multiply my business." Right. And in our case, if you take a look at that, about 320,000 users, it's roughly 3%. Okay, so let's just call that 6,000 people who are really digging in hard.
Oh yeah, and it's
about half, right? And about half of those are realtors, and half of those are loan officers. So that'd be 3,000 loan officers are completely embracing it, and are using all the capabilities and learning. And you know what? Those 3,000 loan officers, right? It's all we need. Because those 3,000 loan officers will be as effective as 300,000 loan officers.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Right? Because when they can complete an entire loan, imagine you, at the loan officers that are listening, you can complete an entire loan transaction with a single prompt. There's Mr. and Mrs. Smith. They want to buy a house on 123 Main Street. Right. This is the realtor. Take care of it. Get the loan closed. Literally, it's that simple.
Wow. It's exciting. It's mind bending. I can't wait to go through that article. You sent it over to me already. We're going to put that list of that article in there. Pavan, Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on. I love what you guys are doing. Jennifer, I have a special appreciation for you, and I can't wait to get over to Cerritos there in California. You guys are on opposite ends of the world together, it seems like, but you work so effectively together. Thanks for both of you coming on today. Appreciate it very much.
It was a pleasure. David. Thank you, David.
You've been listening to Lykken on Lending. Our passion is to bring you the latest insights, trends, and updates from the world of mortgages. So on this show, if you're a seasoned industry veteran or just getting started, it's your go-to source for all things mortgage. We hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll be back soon. Take care, and we'll see you next time on Lykken on Lending.